Greetings all! Today, we will be examining the common flying-type Pokemon Rookidee, the Tiny Bird Pokémon, its relatively uncommon evolution Corvisquire, and its final relatively rare flying steel-type evolution Corviknight, the latter two collectively known as the Raven Pokémon. Though they might not turn many heads until they manage to fully evolve, the members of the Rookidee family are still potent birds that can use both intelligence and strategy to readily overcome any opponent that dares to challenge them.
Rookidee have small round bodies with a single pair of thin legs and three-toed feet, with 2 digits in front and 1 in the back for stability, also possessing a yellow feathered underbelly, black face and sides, and a deep blue back with small wings and tail feathers. They are readily spotted by the vibrant colors, as well as the tiny thin silver beak and large red eyes. The evolved form Corvisquire retained the eye color in evolution, but have a much larger body frame with a light blue underbelly, dark blue wings, back and forehead, and black wingtips, neck, and head. They now have noticeable dark blue claws on their feet and possess a stockier beak perfect for manipulating and holding objects. The final evolution Corviknight possess 4 toes on their feet with 3 in the front, and their entire form is coated in a blackish blue layer of metal for protection, except for the black lower beak and upper chest, which has a large tuft of blue feathers. Their wing armor curves up and outwards near the base of their wings to allow for free movement, and their head and face crests frame their glowing red eyes with black sclera well, giving them a constant, terrifying, and menacing appearance. Lastly, it is noted that these beasts have access to a Gigantamax form, and in this state, the bodies of these beasts grow immensely, and their armor grows thicker and sharper, forming a more noticeable head crest in their form as they become capable of flying in the air without ever having to flap their wings, simply holding them outwards as they glide on top of the Dynamax energy flowing through them.
The members of the Rookidee family start out as small birds that generally rely on the quick movements and feistiness to get them through most fights, as their combat skills are not the greatest at a young age, and they lack much of the power seen in their evolutions.
Even so, they are exceptionally feisty and territorial even at a young age, and will bravely fight against anything that dares to enter their immediate airspace, no matter how much stronger that interloper might be. This more often than not leads to them getting knocked out pretty easily though, as the best attack they have access to prior to evolution is Pluck, and even then, it doesn't come until they start to get close to evolution. Thankfully, however, these creatures are able to store some of their own energy after every battle, even if they lose, so they can still grow a little bit stronger from each and every fight they take part in, making it easier for them to grow and develop over time and eventually evolve. Their evolved form, Corvisquire, are just as feisty and willingly challenge any and all fighters that come their way, as all the battles that they have already taken part in and continue to take part in become more than a test of strength for them. More so, these numerous conflicts allow these creatures to slowly learn from their mistakes and accurately gauge the overall power level of opponents based on their past experiences, not to mention observing and memorizing the primary weak points of many opponents in order to make future battles against Pokemon of their type easier. When Corvisquire evolve into Corviknight, they undergo a mutation that causes their body to start to excrete metal from the base of their feathers over their forms, causing them to harden as they are coated with steel. This not only makes these creatures partial steel types as a result, but it further allows them to learn the steel wing attack immediately after evolving, allowing them to make good use of the new armor both offensively and defensively. The added boost to their physical defenses makes these birds difficult to penetrate with basic attacks, and in turn helps to keep them protected against attack from most of the small insectoid and mammalian Pokemon they dine on for sustenance. In rare cases, the composition of this armor can even allow them to access a signature hidden ability called Mirror Armor, which makes them highly useful in battle by enabling them to reflect any negative stat changes that come towards them right back at the opposition.
Aside from this, Rookidee and Corvisquire are much closer in relation regarding the possible abilities, as well as their exceptional vision can give them access to Keen Eye as a base ability. Those that have greater mental resolve can also have Big Pecs as a hidden ability. In addition, these creatures are no-nonsense in every sense, and they can use their intimidating stance and looks to scare others, resulting in the whole family having access to a Nerve as a base ability. And Corvisquire can take this even further to really stress others out, giving them access to Pressure as a possible base ability in place of Keen Eye.
As far as the stats are concerned in the case of Corviknight, although they certainly might come off as extremely intimidating in the best of cases, they're actually not all that strong offensively and lack much in the way of useful mobility, their base speed stat actually slightly decreasing in evolution from Corvisquire, so their base attack, special attack, and speed stats are below average for fully evolved flying and steel type Pokemon. However, their armored forms nonetheless can make them tough nuts to crack, and they have a great deal of stamina to work with, so the base defense and special defense stats are above average for fully evolved flying type Pokemon, and the base HP stat is above average for fully evolved Pokemon of both of their types, rendering them sturdy beasts that can at least take a good deal of punishment before they need to rest to recover. While Rookidee might not be able to stand toe-to-toe with some other bird Pokemon as juveniles, this is not to say that they are completely without merit in battle, as these beasts are able to use their small bodies and quick movement speed to great advantage in a confrontation. While they might prefer to stay airborne most of the time, on the ground, these creatures can use their strong leg muscles to jump nimbly from place to place, making them surprisingly hard to hit in many cases. This is the only way they can really get the drop on larger opponents, as they can utilize this quick footwork to confuse and disorient them, using the opportunity to then strike back or otherwise retreat if they are in extreme danger. Until they can manage to develop more advanced powers that go beyond what is necessary for the diet of small insectoids and berries, this is the best they can offer in terms of true defense, so it is best to make sure they are fighting something they can take the hits from if this fails, or they might not have a good chance of pulling through.
In addition to being able to use past experiences to fuel their tactics and strategies in battle, Corvisquire set themselves apart from other bird Pokemon in that they are incredibly intelligent. So much so, in fact, that they are able to use tools in battle to aid them in putting down opponents.
In their simplest state, this means that these creatures can pick up objects like rocks and throw them at others to inflict damage, and while this might not translate into them being able to use rock-type attacks naturally, they can still use such items to offset opponents and soften them up for more direct attacks. However, they have also shown themselves to be capable of wielding man-made items like rope as well, entangling others in order to restrict their movement and keep them from attacking back in retaliation from these birds' pecking strikes. This lends these birds a degree of versatility unseen among most other bird Pokemon like them, and thus makes them a bigger threat than they might otherwise seem. This might not be the easiest attribute to make use of in battle all the time, but if the opportunity presents itself, these birds will not be afraid to use their cunning nature to get through their fights, and can definitely be relied on for complex strategies that similar Pokemon in their native lands might be incapable of at their stage of development, which complements well with their powerful drill peck attack that they can eventually get access to as they approach evolution.
Due to impurities in the metal covering their bodies, the bodies of Corviknight are known to usually shine with a black luster in the light that gives them an air of intimidation that can easily strike fear in the hearts of anyone that observes them for too long, terrifying all but the most resilient of wild Pokemon as they look over the skies of their chosen territory.
Interestingly though, as menacing as Corviknight tend to appear and act, they're actually quite popular for taxi services in the native Galar region as a result of their intelligence and overall physical strength. Corviknight are some of the largest of all bird Pokemon and are able to lift incredibly large payloads with their powerful wings, making it very easy for them to transport humans across great distances without much trouble at all. They are also extremely intelligent for bird Pokemon just like Corvisquire, and are able to memorize locations and travel routes with great ease, never forgetting where they have been to and where they are going. This is aided in turn by the ability to be trained effectively at a young age, which must be done as such because they can be very hard to tame as adults, not to mention dangerous. While there are plenty of Pokemon in their native lands that could act as substitutes, the armored body of these birds is ultimately the major factor that puts them a cut above the rest of the possible candidates for transportation services, as it helps them to avoid taking collateral damage from their flights in the case of an attack from another flying Pokemon, and renders these creatures as a whole the best and most stylish way to get around the skies of the Galar region when going on a bike or foot isn't enough to get to a specific destination quickly enough. As such, it goes without saying that in the Galar region where they are most commonly found, these birds rule the skies quite literally with an iron wing, scaring all those that come to oppose them and making sure that everything that gets in their way feels the sting of their cutting wings and especially their powerful brave bird attack.
It is lastly noted that Corviknight is one of only a select number of Pokemon capable of undergoing the process of Gigantamaxing, with specific members of the species taking on a unique form when they are Dynamaxed in battle.
In this state, these beasts have the power to blow almost everything in their path away, whipping up winds more forceful than any hurricane could possibly generate, and their capacity to attack from afar is aided by the creation of 8 special enormous feathers on their back called blade birds, which can be launched off their body to attack independently, providing their opponents with multiple targets to have to deal with. While this might only be a temporary state for them, the immense power that flows through them all in this state allows Corviknight to utilize a unique G-Max move known as G-Max Wind Rage, which takes the standard max airstream attack and infuses it with their signature blade birds, causing the attack to rip through and remove things like energy barriers and arena hazards, and as a whole, allowing these monsters to use their Dynamax power to the fullest to strip away protection and hazards revolving around anything that would dare to face them in combat.
These birds certainly go through quite the transformation as they develop and grow into adulthood, and while I would rather not have to interact with them, at least at a young age, they aren't anything for most to worry about. But compared to Corviknight, that much should be obvious. It's sort of funny that they honestly aren't quite as powerful as some might think them to be, but that should not cause anyone to let down their guard, as they'll gladly take advantage of that situation before you can even blink. Territorial, vicious, and intelligent enough to make good use of their environment and any tools they can get a hold of. Unless you're battling them in an open field without much around, you can bet that these creatures will use every trick at their disposal to make life hectic for those that dare to challenge them. Even if their actual natural moveset might be pretty basic and nothing to write home about, intimidation alone serves them well in a lot of cases, and they can be difficult to handle without proper training. Moreover, the unique mirror armor ability of Corviknight can prove to be fairly useful in the right cases, so long as the opposition seems keen on using moves to soften up their stats without knowing that it will likely backfire on them completely. It might take longer for them to reach adulthood than most other bird Pokémon, but the wait can be worth it if you're able to make good use of their armored bodies to frustrate and wall offensively weak opponents with decent offenses to back them up.
A common sight for many in the right places, but nonetheless worth taking note of, the members of the Rookidee family are powerful birds that can eventually become serious competition to many other fully evolved beasts that regularly roam the skies. Learning to work with them can be a pain if they are not raised from a young age, but for those that can pull it off, these birds can more than make for useful partners to batter down opponents with.
Just do yourself a favor and make sure that you pay them respect no matter how you use them. They might be quite obedient when properly trained, but get in their face or otherwise treat them poorly, and they'll gladly stare you down to nothing before ripping you apart for disrespecting these flying knights and their visage.
Thank you for watching this video. It brings me great joy to be able to speak to you all in the world each and every time we meet like this, to explore the many different facets of both the world of Pokemon as we know it, and the world as we live it, through every adventure we have with Pokemon by our side. If you'd like to, please subscribe, ring the bell and all that jazz, to keep yourself updated on content uploads and other materials of the like. You can also follow me on Twitter if you'd like to know right away when something new is uploaded, and my written works, from which most of this is based on, can be found on DeviantArt. Links to both can be found in the description down below. Remember that the world of Pokemon is a place full of wonder and mystery, and you never know what to expect. So, stay vigilant, keep watch, and always be prepared for the unexpected. Until next time, trainers and friends of all sorts, have a wonderful time.